Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're going. We're going. We're live. Oh man, F101 week 16.5, week 16 and a half. It's just me and Dave this weekend. Um, we're doing the Monza review. I missed the race uh because I was at the Ren Fair. I was driving. Hold on, make sure I can hear myself real quick. Okay, I can hear me. Dave, give me a little audio.
I'll check 1 2 1 2.
All right, beautiful. So I missed the race live. We were driving to the Ren Fair, but I had it on in the car like radio, so I like heard it. So I heard like the first couple laps, and then I lost connection.
Probably good for
it's,
that. I mean,
it's out in
I
the
mean,
middle of no.
nothing much really happens.
Yeah. So I saw all the important bits, and that's what matters. So it was Monza magic for Max. Ferrari fails to finish first, or second, or third. The finishing order is Verstappen, Norris, Piastri. That's the podium. Then we've got Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Albon, Bortoletto, Antonelli, and Hadjar rounding out the points. Following them were Sainz, Behrman, Tsunoda, Lawson, Ocon, Gasly, Colapinto, and Stroll. Hulkenberg and Alonso didn't finish. Real quick on Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg didn't even really start the race. He did the formation lap and then had to pull it in with a suspension issue or a hydraulic issue or something like that. So he didn't even really get to start the race, but because he did the formation lap, I believe that counts as a DNF.
I
Um,
have it counting as DNS, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. I got 0 points.
yeah, well, okay, it was DNS. Whatever. He didn't finish. He also didn't start. All right. Well, good day went to Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Bad day was anyone expecting a Monza miracle in the direction of Ferrari. Nico Hulkenberg, Fernando Alonso, and Yuki Tsunoda. We talked about Nico already. Fernando, real quick as well. Couple laps in, right? Maybe it was like around halfway through. He just runs over the curb. Car just suspension just gives out, and he's done. And
Pretty
that's
sure
it.
he was driving pretty well too. He was like on fire, and then he was on fire. Um,
Yeah.
oh well.
That
What?
car in a straight line being fast bodes well for one other track, but I'll get to that later. Um, but first, Max Verstappen put it on pole. He with the fastest lap in Formula One history by average speed, which is always in Monza because Monza is the track with the fastest average speed. So any fastest lap set there is going to be the fastest lap in the sport, unless they make a new track that's even faster. Um,
And I don't know if you saw qualifying, but it was
I
kind of
did.
exciting. It was pretty exciting, and then when it actually all shook out, it was a very normal.
Yes,
Like everyone was super close, and then people were changing spots, and then at the end, the grid was like, "Oh, this is kind of normal,"
it
except the letters
normalized.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, damn it. Like I no Alpine up ahead, no nothing. It's just like okay, well, very
Yeah.
normal starting grid,
It was
unfortunately.
exciting, and then it ended, and it's like, oh well, at least it was exciting while it happened. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, Smacks he qualifies on pole. He brings home the win. He kept first by going off the track in the first lap. And then he gave that place back to Norris, and then he took it back. And once he took it back, there was really no chance. He kind of just shot ahead. Um, there was a lot of good fighting at the start between Verstappen and Norris, and then Piastri and Leclerc. Russell was kind of in there a little bit as well. Hamilton was making up places. And Tsunoda on the other Red Bull kind of faltered after a good qualifying. He went off the track on turn one, lap one, and he never really recovered from that. Because he didn't go off the track and gain a position. He went off the track and lost positions, and the other people didn't have to give that back because they don't drive for McLaren. Um,
got him.
got him. And Nate joined. That's why I had to roast him.
Yeah, thanks.
All right,
I
we'll get to the McLaren bit soon.
there at the start of this race, there were some really impressive moves. Whenever someone did overtake, it was pretty impressive. Max had an impressive overtake.
Yeah, Monza's
Uh,
good, man. I love this place.
yeah, unfortunately, after that, there just wasn't much.
Mm,
But I will
yeah.
get to that, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah,
not a lot
there's
happened. Like a lot happened at the front, and like every once in a while, in between the start and the end, someone did something, but it was not really like a ton. And so overall, it was pretty much like it was a pretty mellowed out, like normalized race.
yeah,
Um,
a lot of people, and we won't get into this, were like had the strategy for a safety car.
Yes, and then it
Didn't
didn't happen.
just they were just absolutely screwed. And there was a few times where there might have been a safety car. It was it Signs and Behrman got in
No,
there?
I don't think there was a safety car for that.
There wasn't, but
It was close. It could have been.
it was close.
Yeah, it could have been. Um. So yeah. But the thing with Red Bull is, was Max really fast? Because it's just like, did they get it? Was it the car as a whole? Did Red Bull just give him the right setup? If it's the car and like the car just performs on a track like this better, that bodes well for Vegas. Um. Of the remaining races, Vegas is the only one that's like straight line speed is like fast and straight line speed is really important. And like high downforce. Baku, which is, I want to say it's the next race. I don't know. Actually, let me look. Baku has one really long straight, but then the rest of the lap is slow. Whereas with Monza, there's two really long straights, and the entire lap is fast. Um, yes, Baku's next. So um, the cars that did well here don't necessarily, like, they're not necessarily going to do well in Baku, even though there's a huge long straight at the end. Um, it's the rest of the lap is very different. So we got to talk about more McLaren pit stop drama, I guess is another way to do it. In the pit stop phase, McLaren had stayed out long on the mediums. They could make the tires last, and they're like, all right, we're going to pit you late, and both you guys are going to go on softs. They were driving. Verstappen was way ahead, and there was Norris and Piastri. Um, they picked Piastri first in what was a discussion, I assume, with both drivers, and then Norris. However, Norris had a slow stop, and so Piastri overtook Norris while Norris was in the pits. And then McLaren was like, hey, Oscar, buddy, give the place back. I guess out of a sense of fairness, and Oscar obliged. He didn't fight about any at all. After the race, he was like, wasn't Lando's fault. I'll give it back to him. And then Lando kind of tore ahead of Oscar. They were like, let Lando pass, and then you two can race each other. And so he let Lando pass, and there was no racing. So, it's an interesting decision. It's another kind of like weird handling of driver situations that McLaren's doing. The funniest part about the whole thing was not the whole drama. It was Max and GP, his race engineer, gossiping about it on the radio while it was happening. Like, GP was like, hey, this just happened. And Max laughed. And he was like, what? Why? So that was probably the best part of the whole thing. Um, but yeah, I guess McLaren put an emphasis on fairness between their two drivers, really trying to stick hard to their two number one drivers thing. It's interesting to think if this was in, later in the year where it's closer to the end, what happens in that scenario? What happens going forward if Oscar kind of gets screwed over by a McLaren mistake? Does Lando follow team orders? I don't know. I would assume he would.
Team or driver was competing for any of these championships, what would have happened? Like
True, yeah.
they're like, okay, well, we're F1 in its entirety right now in the competitiveness, so we're gonna manufacture our own set of rules over here.
I guess.
And pit stops don't count as racing anymore.
Yeah. So it was weird to say the least. It was kind of giving Hungary flashbacks when McLaren messed up pit stops again. Although Oscar listened pretty immediately compared to Lando in Hungary. So that was that's the McLaren, and then everyone's making fun of McLaren for it, rightfully so. I think it is pretty funny to hear. Uh, but ultimately there was nothing they could do once Max got out front. I mean, it shows how much clean air is like really important in these regulations, because once he got out front, there was no he was on something. Um, he continued his trend of Lewis being fast, and then Max like awakens. Even if the car sucks. If Lewis is fast, Max will win.
I mean, and
Without
to give
fail.
credit too, this is the first race that it's not just that Max was in front the whole time; he had to overtake to get that spot.
It's
It's
true.
the Red Bull was just so fast on the straights that, and McLaren couldn't. For the first time this whole season, really, McLaren couldn't really keep up.
McLaren has said
Uh,
that their straight line speed is not where their strong part, like not where the strongest part of their car. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle Baku next week, and it'll be really interesting to see how they handle Vegas in November.
Also, I think that Piastri didn't, give much guff because, well, he's the one who benefited from Hungary, right?
Yeah, well, that was last year
And
though.
it was last year, but then also last race, Lando's whole car
It's
just
true.
kind of exploded.
That's true. So and he because it was second and third instead of first and second, he didn't lose. His lead didn't shrink by as much. So
Yeah.
that's the McLaren portion. Nate, anything you'd like to add?
There's so much I could add here.
You
I
sent me your thoughts.
yeah. Uh, so I just don't understand. Given like everything that happened last year, I get that this wasn't 1-2, but it's like given the stain that put on last year, why would you do something that gives a similar leaves a similar feeling? Um, and it's like, okay, Oscar was caught on the radio saying like I thought like that we had in the talks that we did have like that was part of racing. I'm confused. And like to Oscar's credit, like he like you said, like he listened pretty quickly. But I also think it's BS that he even had to. Like I don't care if he was okay with it after the fact. That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I get that the slow stop it is what it is, but that's part of racing, and like I'm sure the pit crew feels crappy enough about it, as is. Oh, excuse me. And that's I don't have any problem with the pit crew. Like that stuff kind of happens,
Well,
and it's also like
that front left has been an issue all year.
yeah, but like again, there's also
Not to blame
I
the pit crew or anything. I'm just saying that's
yeah.
been like a trend.
No, yeah, but it's like yeah, like I'm not gonna blame the pit crew, and it's also like again 1.9 second stops that they've had. Like gotta also give them the credit. Like it's bound to happen, like errors like that. Uh, Obviously no one's happy when they happen, but it is what it is. Um, and I also just feel like I'm more so just I got beef with the pit wall. I got beef with the pit wall. I got beef with Stella and the engineers giving that order. Um, it's just I think it's ridiculous. I think that it doesn't reflect, it contradicts everything else that they've been saying, about trying to keep it like fair racing and whatnot. Like, and also too, like it puts Lando in an awkward position. Because again, like even with the pit sequencing, like he asked if they wanted to pit the other car first too. Like obviously they asked what his opinion was and what he wanted, but he like when prompted, the first thing he did was ask. And you know,
Well, I think
it just
in that conversation, Lando said, "Oh, I'll pit second as long as he's not going to overtake me."
yeah,
And I can
which
see
is
like, in the moment when they're deciding on what to do,
yeah,
like having that feeling, oh, Lando, he wasn't able to finish last week, and then we said that Piastri was going to overtake him, and it was really close. And Piastri got
right.
so I can see in the moment it happening, but like, oh man, like it was definitely the wrong decision.
Yeah, like it's just yeah, and that's the thing too, because it's like it's not like the team ordered that like for Oscar to undercut or anything. Like that's just how it happened. And it's like, what else is Oscar supposed to do? Not drive through the home straight? Like,
Yeah, he had to stop in
um,
the middle of the road.
yeah, like it's just silly. So just really grinded my gears. Um, just yeah, just bothers the hell out of me because it puts Lando in an awkward position. I mean, it also put Oscar in an awkward position too. Like, Because now I'm sure there are people questioning, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you listen to those orders? Like, I don't know. It's just all dumb to me. It really.
And now if Lando wins the championship by, less than 6 points, it's
Yeah,
going to put a whole thing on it. It's like, well, that was only because of team orders in this specific race.
yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, it's just a compromising position. And, like, Lando already has a reputation for, up to we can, he already has like a kind of a reputation, which I do not confirm or deny. But it's like, why would you, as the pit wall, just add that extra external pressure? Like, that just seemed silly. And I don't know. I've watched a lot of other sports, right? Follow other sports teams. It's very hard to find teams that can somehow add such a bad taste to being at the top. Like, I don't understand how you achieve the level of dominance that you have this year with McLaren, and you just manage to just make it. You just add these little like just stinkers in there. Like, how do you do that? How do you manage to simultaneously do that?
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
I think it's because of how F1 is a sport, and what makes it different than a lot of others is that they're teammates but also rivals.
Yeah.
And McLaren is so far ahead that they really have the ability to do dumb shit like this.
Okay, but hold on. Like as an Eagles fan, I don't get mad. Like I don't get mad at like Devonta Smith and AJ Brown and their split and whatnot. Like, that somehow works.
Yeah, but they're not getting individual points. They're not There's no players' championship.
No, but there's contracts.
Well, yeah,
There's
but
more
I mean,
money on the table.
yeah, but like, as a fan, I don't give
There's
it like.
receiver ratings.
Yeah, but like, most fans don't really care about that. Whereas in F1, there's like an actual championship and a trophy and money. I mean, I guess money with the contract, but there's like a championship and a trophy and stuff like that.
There's money with the contract. There's the individual player awards. Like,
Well, I think the difference is that the receivers aren't guarding each other. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point too.
They can
That's
only do
fair.
what they can do
Yeah,
on
that
their
is a good point.
sides. Maybe like interact with Jalen Hurts and be like, "Hey, give me the ball," or whatever. But Lando and Oscar can do something very tangible about it. They can race better against each other. They can crash into each other. They can make moves on each other.
Also,
Oscar just decided not to give up the place.
yeah, and there's not like that live strategy difference like in the NFL. Like the players are ultimately they're working together to win, and if AJ Brown like he's beating whoever's covering him every time, it makes more sense to give it to him. But we're not like hearing those decisions. We're in F1, we're like hearing the radio, like the engineers talk. And also I think a big part of it is F1 is two people. It's two people per team. So it's not like there's a whole 53-man roster. I mean, I get there's the engineers and the pit crew and all that, but like on the TV, in the car, it's the two drivers. And because of that, they have these like larger than life personalities. Maybe not more so than some NFL players, certainly, but
look, all I'm saying, like, I mean, when I was looking at the TV on Sunday, apparently Derrick Henry lost the game instead of the Ravens. So
no, the Ravens lost the game. I mean, I don't know
I
who.
agree with, but it's that's what's out there.
I also think dang, I had something with the with the kind of like what you're saying, the Ravens isn't just Derrick Henry. You know, there's a way more. There's the line. There's and superstar level. There's Lamar. Um, but like when you look at F1, it could be like there's a number one and a number two guy, whereas every other sport tries to keep it a little, you know, even. I guess football. They're like no surprise John Harbaugh is calling Lamar Jackson like he's our superstar, he's our guy, and then Sean McDermott is probably making some weird comparison with Josh Allen to the Navy SEALs or something like that. Um, but whereas in F1, there is like always a very clear number one and two driver. So then when you have this like for the first time really in recent memory, our two number one drivers thing, it can just make it even more awkward. And then I think we talked about this before, where McLaren doesn't know how to handle being up front sometimes, and that makes it worse
Yes, no, that makes it infinitely worse. And
because
I think that's my biggest problem.
drivers will swap positions sometimes too, and it's like awkward. But if you're swapping a position between 13th and 14th because of a slow stop, totally different than second and third.
Mm.
So if you're still competing for a constructors or something like that,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well, at least the team has some incentive. McLaren have basically already won the constructors, so it's literally just, well, us as a team don't really have much to do other than facilitate the drivers' championship.
I also think F1 media is way more sensationalized and like rabid about this kind of stuff than other sports media is. Not that other sports media is good. Almost all of sports media is hot, like journalism, quote unquote,
No, yeah.
is hot garbage. But F1 in particular is real bad. And F1 fans also tend to align with a driver over a team. Whereas football is very team oriented. You see some people jump ship if a star player moves to a different team, and the team they're leaving sucks. I'm sure some Giants fans became Eagles fans after the Saquon move, but well, maybe not because that's in the division. But you know what I mean. Um, F1 fan base it's way more driver than team.
I think the biggest thing is that the rest of the team on a football field, they're supposed to help each other. And that's the same for most of F1 besides the two drivers.
Right.
So you have this weird thing where, well, the team messed up.
Yeah.
And so the two people who are against each other while everyone else is on the same side is like, okay, well, the factor that they don't have control over messed up. What do we do now? And normally, because there's some competition and you're trying to get something as a team, the answer is like, well, do whatever is best for the points. But since
But
that's not a factor anymore, it's, well, do whatever's fair, which just feels really weird when there's 18 other drivers
I think it
on
just
the grid.
goes to say the dynamics in an F1 team cannot be compared to the dynamics in a football team.
Fair. Still pissed me off.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I read your I read your expletive laden notes that you sent me.
Like it gave like. Okay, and like going off of the notes, yeah. Just I'll end on this. I'll stop holding us up here on this. Like,
Oh, you're fine.
it
This is
just
a short one anyway.
it just gives like it gives Jerry Jones taking over the '90s Cowboys. Like that's what shit like this gave, and it's like I fucking hate the Cowboys. I hate Jerry Jones. Actually, no, I technically love Jerry Jones for doing what he does to the Cowboys as an Eagles fan. But it's like this is shit decision making from higher up. Like, what do we do? What do we do?
Yeah. I think that isn't apt to comparison because at the time, the Cowboys were so dominant that Jerry wanted, to take credit for it. I mean, I don't think it's as bad here. It's a little bit different incentives, but it's the same problem where there's so much success that you feel like you can kind of do what you want. And I think McLaren can in this instance, but in doing what they want, they're kind of screwing themselves, at least in a public perception kind of way.
Yeah, and like that's I think that's exactly right. Like the phrasing that you used there, like it's the same problem. It's not as worse, but it's like the same. It's a similar sort of problem there.
Suffering from success.
At the very least, Nate, no matter what, I think McLaren won't top the sour taste that was Hungary last year.
Why would you say that out loud?
That was like an all-timer. That was like an all-timer.
Come around, and some stupid shit's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be pissed.
And guess what? We have it live recorded here. I predicted it.
It's gonna be the last race of the year.
Yeah, you better. You're gonna be stressed in Abu Dhabi if it's close.
It's gonna be 1 point away. One of them's gonna have a slow pit stop, and it's gonna be like, oh no. It's gonna be just gonna have a slow pit stop.
Yes, that is what's gonna happen. It's gonna be it's gonna be flipped.
And there's no saving that situation. None.
No, literally none. Yeah, and like, dude, because that's my thing too. It's like it'd be one thing if like I hated Oscar or something like that, but like I don't. Oscar's a fucking talented driver, too. Like, and he has done nothing. Like he does nothing to deserve like any like bad shit as far as I'm aware.
Well,
like
speaking of back to kind of the fandom a little bit about that is the there are people on social media who, in arguing about this thing, were like, oh, Oscar like should have given up anyway because Lando, this is their words, built the team and deserves the championship. And I was like, what? What do you mean he built the team? He hung around. He stuck with the team, and that's very admirable. But built the team? What are we talking about? It's named after a dude. It's named after a man.
Did you know Lando built the car? Lando's in the garage. He built that car.
Lando built the car by hand. But it's shit like that, and it's the fan bases that are so crazy for one driver over another, even like over the team, that makes shit like this way more of an issue in like the public perception than it should be. But I do love I do have to say, you crazy Lando Norris fans, please keep posting. Please. It gives me so much to laugh about.
This is how Lando can still win.
He's mathematically still in it.
He's very mathematically still in it.
Exactly. So that's the McLaren segment. I think it's the longest we've dedicated to McLaren in an episode, which is totally fine because not a lot happened this race. We'll go through everybody else really, really quickly here. It doesn't need to be too long. Ferrari does not get it done. No Monza miracle for them. Leclerc got ahead of Piastri for a bit, but ultimately finished where he started in 4th. Hamilton started 10th after his 5-place grid drop, and he gets up to 6th. And I think he got up to 6th in lap, almost all the way up to 6th in lap 1. I think he got up to 7th in lap 1. He had a really good first lap. He was looking like the Hamilton of old, and for a brief second, I thought he was going to make it all the way to the podium. I was like, he's going to do something crazy, but then he didn't. And I was like, why do I get my...
up to like, you just can't really get past 6th.
Well, he can't get past Leclerc or Russell. So, there was no Ferrari magic, but compared to Zandvoort, it was a successful weekend for the team. Toto, after the race, gave a pretty harsh review of his drivers, prompting the Mercedes subreddit to kind of have a little bit of a riot. Russell used up in Toto's eyes, Russell used up too much of his tires in the beginning of the race, chasing Leclerc. And by beginning, I mean like the first half. And Toto very publicly disagreed with it. And he also was like Antonelli's a little disappointing. 5-second penalty for driving erratically. He had a really poor start. Russell couldn't even catch Leclerc anyway, but then Hamilton couldn't really catch Russell, so it kind of didn't matter. But Toto was kind of like, I think he was just kind of like taken out of context. But man, the Mercedes subreddit was up in arms. There were like a few people who were like, Toto only has eyes for Max Verstappen. He only wants Max Verstappen. I was like, I thought we were over this like 2 weeks ago. I thought we were done with this stuff.
This is what happens when nothing happens in a race.
That's true.
Verstappen must do something to get in the news. And he didn't do anything but win. He literally did nothing but win and have a good move. And like, no, Max is going to Mercedes again. It's happening.
It's so ridiculous. There's this one guy, I don't know. I can't I don't want to say his like username on the Mercedes subreddit who was really he's been mad at Toto for his treatment of George, and it's so chronically online how much he's posting. I'm like, people on the subreddit are like, dude, you need to go outside. Like you need help. It was
I
rough.
wonder, I don't know if you saw George's comments after the race, but he said that the Mercedes in general was just slower than the Ferrari.
I think it was.
Uh,
He's right.
I wonder if Toto was like, actually, George,
Well, I think
you
his
stick to
tires
this.
didn't help, but I mean, it was a the problem is when you're in such a lonely race, it's like you're kind of like, okay, why am I not fighting? Like, why am I not catching anybody? But then also maybe you're not realizing that also no one's catching you, so it's kind of just
I,
how it's playing out.
I also wonder if maybe it's out of context. Maybe Toto was trying to,
Well,
he
he did
wanted to
say the
criticize.
tire thing, but I don't think it was as negative as people made it.
Yeah, well, maybe it was also just to like kind of cushion the Kimmy,
Yeah.
criticism because Kimmy has been doing pretty poorly.
Yeah, but
Uh,
he's a rookie in a top team. Like he's not
so I'm
gonna
saying
be.
maybe you wanted to say something, but you don't want it to sound like he's, really mad at Kimmy, so you put a George thing in there because like George couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like 5 seconds ahead of Lewis and 7 seconds behind Charles. So it was like, okay, let's say George, he made a slight mistake, and then Kimmy also 5 second penalty for driving radically, and last week was also a mess.
And the problem is Kimmy is looking worse because Hajar went from pit lane to points. He went from the pit lane to 10th. Another really strong performance from him after a horrible qualifying session. Not a podium, but he recovered well, and he's showing he's really capable in a lot of scenarios. And because Hajar is so good, and because Kimmy got onto the podium, Kimmy started out so strong, and he's been really good. And Bortoletto's been really good, and Behrman's had moments, and Cole Pinto's driven the car. Uh, but because of all these really good rookies, when Antonelli, who was at the beginning of the season was hyped up to be the best one, isn't the best one, it's it kind of makes him look worse than he is. But you got to remember, I mean, he's a rookie, and he skipped I think he skipped F2, so like it's a big adjustment. And he's young, and he's got a long career ahead of him, I'm sure. F1 tend to suffer from like recency bias. You're only as good as your last race. Um, so and
I
with the
think
comparison of the other rookies, he does look I think he looks maybe worse than he actually is.
yeah, I mean, I think there are 4 good rookies, which just statistically feels improbable.
Yeah.
But they all look pretty good. I mean, the only one that hasn't really solidified themselves is Ollie Behrman,
Yeah.
and not really his fault because the Haas sucks really bad.
Yeah.
Gabby Bortoletto was in that position at the beginning of the year, but now the Sauber's okay enough. He can show off that he can get points in a Sauber.
And we've seen what Behrman can do too.
Yeah, when he gets the chance, he takes advantage of it. And so when you see that, when you see these 3 other rookies are really good in these midfield teams taking advantage of it, and then Kimmy is not in a Mercedes, it does make him look kind of bad. But I think
Yeah.
normally he'd look fine. He's like, okay, yeah, he's developing, he's getting points, he's doing good, he has a podium, he makes mistakes over there, but the
So
other
does
3 are just so
everybody.
good. It just, yeah, it really pulls him down. Thank God Colapinto and Doohan are in there to help even it out a little bit, so he's not the worst rookie.
Real rookie performances
Jeez.
there. And then in the other V carb, the other kind of pseudo rookie Lawson, he was horrible. He was slow all race. He did not have a great did not have a great time. Although he did try to overtake Yuki at a point, and he hit Yuki. And then he ended up not overtaking Yuki. That was not a great race for him. Even though, and he's another one who's had moments, but he's had a lot of bad too. And also, there's like is he really a rookie? Is he not? Same with Colapinto, but whatever. Um, Signs and Behrman, sorry, Hulk retiring before the race starts. We got that. Bortoletto, we talked about, he's fast. He put that Sauber back into points, which is super helpful for the team in terms of the championship, especially with Hulkenberg DNFing. Sainz and Behrman crashed, but neither of them DNF'd. Sainz finished just outside of the points in another disappointing weekend for him, while Albon recovered from a really bad qualifying to get to 7th place and extend their lead in the standings. And then I saw a report that Sainz had battery issues all race. And then I didn't look further into that because I had a busy week. But I'm just gonna assume that he probably did. He hasn't had a great time at Williams, whereas Albon really has. So it'll be exciting to see Sainz kind of, I want to see him do something. I want to see him do something that's not fight with one of the back markers.
He has been doing that a lot, but Albon, you remember the
Sounds
middle
good.
part of this year before the summer break, Albon was in just shambles.
He is in hell, yeah.
So mad. He is now in 7th place in the drivers. He just pulled ahead of Kimi. He's the only one that's not in the top 4 in the top 7.
Right.
I mean, he's not anywhere close to Lewis Hamilton, but he's kind of turned it around after the summer break.
And he needed to.
And just to put also Hadjar's performance into perspective, at the beginning of the race, the bottom 4 drivers were in just that blue, the Alpine and V-Car blue for so long, and they looked so slow. Looked insanely slow. I do not know how Hadjar got up there. Because they looked so slow at the beginning of the race. And I don't know how Lance Stroll got down there.
I think Stroll I think he had a pit stop issue.
Okay.
I don't remember. I did watch the whole race, but I was like, I had to do other stuff. And like, so this is the, and I admit at the beginning, this is the one race of the year I didn't really fully 100% lock in on. But I think Stroll had some kind of issue, or maybe he pitted too late, or I think maybe he pitted too late or something. I don't know. But we already talked about the other Aston, Alonso suspension gave out. And you mentioned it. Alpine did not have a great weekend. They didn't score points. But they did extend Gasly to 2028. I think it was 2028.
Okay.
So multi-year for him. Good thing he got that hair transplant, because if he didn't lose all his hair last year, he would have lost it in the new contract. So
He's
that
the Max Verstappen of the back markers.
Yes, exactly. Oh man, former Red Bull, former Red Bull. So that's Monza. It was stuff happened, but most of the time stuff didn't happen. Big week for the nothing ever happens people.
Nothing happened, and I can't remember which of these drivers won. So I think that might have been Stroll's downfall too. I think he was one of the people trying to find a safety car. I think Ocon was another one who tried to find a safety car.
I think McLaren were also kind of hoping for a safety car.
Yes.
I mean, they could not get up to Max, so yeah.
But I think even on the restart, the safety car restarts are very favorable to the person leading ever since they made the Max Verstappen rule. So, I think he would have been fine, but and he probably, depending on when, he probably would have pitted too.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, Max Verstappen once you got in that lead, it was over, which is very surprising. I didn't think it would be that much of a difference.
Yeah, he was crazy. I just don't think you can count on a safety car. I think that's a bad strategy.
Well, there were two
talking about, you don't have an option. Like Ocon, he's not going to outrace a bunch of people in Monza.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Or Stroll, he's in P18.
Okay, but for McLaren.
Yeah, for McLaren. I think it's just hey, we're not winning this off of just pure racing. We gotta pull a strategy and just hope.
There's just too many people counting on luck and bad luck for others.
I mean, that's what happens when you got a bad car or a car that can't compete on the racetrack. Is okay.
Right. If you have a bad car, sure, I get that from those lower tier teams. But then teams be above that, not
McLaren
just above,
couldn't compete with Max though.
They're 20 seconds behind.
To Dave's point.
But I think a large part of that is because we were trying to bail ourselves out. That was just dumb. think about it. If we pit instead, that could at least no shot. Should we be getting gapped by 20 seconds at the very least? Like,
Yeah, it is
I
a
think
bit
if we
surprising.
had executed a different strategy instead of trying to swap and hold out for another like 17 laps,
Yeah.
one stop, I think that goes different.
Yeah, I see your point. Maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. It probably this 20 seconds probably would have been less, but I don't know if they would have been able to fight for it. I think before
I don't know.
the pits and all that, it was like I think everyone was like 6 seconds away from each other, which is I guess doable if someone makes a mistake, but yeah, they just weren't really closing the gap.
Yeah, just
You also Max knows if there's ever a driver that knows how to lead a race, it's Max.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like Max, and that's the thing. Yeah, like Max had an absolute masterclass. Like again, like favorite quote of the weekend: "No risk, full push."
Yeah.
Like
very Max Verstappen. Well, not really a very Max Verstappen quote because he would be all risk, all push, but.
No, yeah, just that radio to GP between him and GP was so.
It's 2025 Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
And what sucks for Yuki is that every time Max wins, Yuki loses.
I know, it's so rough.
It's like, oh, Max won in his car by 20 seconds. Where's Yuki? Oh, he's in P13.
Look, man, being a Yuki fan is not for the weak. It's not for the weak.
He's behind a Haas. Like, oh god, that's kind of gross.
Oh yeah, that's Monza. Our certified Ferrari moment was McLaren telling Piastri to cede a place to his championship rival due to a mistake the team made. Sorry, Nate, I had to give it to him.
No, fully deserved.
And pick the podium, places people. Sam becomes the first person in F101 history, even last year, I double checked, to guess the entire podium in all the wrong spots. He's the first person to ever get 3 people on the podium, all of them in wrong spots. He had Norris, Piastri, Verstappen. So he is now only 3 points behind Nate. 306 to 309. Andrew has 254. A great week, a perfect weekend from him. Puts him right back up in there as long as everyone else fucks up. And then I am at 341. I increased my gap on Nate again.
If that swap didn't happen, I would have gotten Norris correct. Let me just say.
That's true.
There is a point where my podium was looking real spicy in the
with
race.
Albon?
Albon was in P4 at one point.
That was during the pit stop phase, though.
No, yeah, I know, and I was like, damn, like, because McLaren hadn't taken any of their pits yet. I was like, fuck, man, like if they just pit Oscar right now.
Get him up there.
Just let me
stop. He just goes.
Feel something. Yeah, just to feel something. I mean, Albon would have needed the pit too at that point.
Although, Nate, your secondary prediction was kind of right. Oscar did get sabotaged by McLaren. And Behrman did not get points.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I think that's the first time any of these other predictions have been right. This is historic.
Get some style points.
Some would argue that Lando was sabotaged.
Yeah, Lando was sabotaged. Then he wasn't sabotaged, which made Oscar sabotaged.
Yeah. Oh man.
What the heck?
What did you do? What did you do?
Just error.
Error.
I'm trying. Wait. What was I? I have to do this. Stupid. Okay.
+3 style point.
There we go.
All right. You got to give Andrew +3 style points too, because he got his right.
But that's no. That's like
maybe
0.5.
Give him 1. Give him a full point. He gets 1. He's well, not last, but he's in second to last. Give him 1. He gets 1. I'll look up at this. Does anyone else? No Brits on podium for Britain. That was wrong. Everyone gets hot and sweaty. That one doesn't really count. Oh, Kimi doesn't finish the race in Canada. He got third. Less than 0.003 between the top two qualifying times in Monaco. Did that happen? I don't think that happened. It wasn't that small of a gap. One of the Haases will finish last. I think it was an Alpine in Monaco.
Probably, yeah.
Colapinto didn't spin out.
Haas actually won that race, I think.
Yeah.
Was...
Russell's car did not explode in Miami.
No,
So
it exploded in Imola, I think. It exploded
all right.
like recently after.
No, I think it was the race before, and then yeah. It wasn't the race before. It was Saudi Arabia. His or it was in Bahrain where his GPS went all wild.
Yeah, I think he had mechanical issues after this prediction, but it wasn't
An explosion.
Well, it was an explosion, and also nothing happened in Miami to him.
Yeah,
it was afterwards that I don't know, his car just stopped working, I think, at some point.
All right. So now there's an official style point championship. Nate, you are winning. Andrew is one behind you. Anyone is eligible for the style points.
I was gonna say we're gonna have to incorporate these secondary predictions.
I'm not getting a prize. I'm not buying a prize for whoever wins in the style points. I'm just gonna put that out there.
We might have to figure something out for next year.
Okay.
I'm also losing the style points. I have -3 for the Kimi prediction.
Oh, you don't lose. Oh, you gave yourself -3. All right, Dave is in charge of the style points competition. Any issues with the point system, you take it up with him.
Take it up with Dave.
Oh man, oh man. All right, well that's F101. You can keep a track here if you want to as well. You can edit it. So, thank you for being here. If you're in the comments, what do I want to know from the comments? If you're in the comments, let me know who you think is going to win our pick the podium competition between the 5 of us. And all five. Dave, I don't think you're mathematically eliminated. In theory, you could get perfects for the rest of the year, and we could do nothing, and you'd win.
I think it's possible. Okay, if you just let me wait to give my predictions till the following Monday.
No.
I got a chance.
So
it's difficult for me to win, but I'd have a chance.
So actually, let's. How many more races are there? Let's do this really quick before we end. I'm pulling it up right now. Schedule. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 more races.
What's the maximum points you can score?
You can get 464 more points if you got a perfect every weekend. There's 464 for maximum points available. So Dave, this would put you at this would put Dave at, what is this? 504. So if anyone gets over 504, then we'll know that you are mathematically eliminated in week 16.
That's assuming I get perfect weekends during that time.
Well, that's what I'm saying is
Which
yeah, So that's your cutoff. Is if someone gets 504, that's when you specifically get eliminated, and not anyone else. Okay. Oh man! All right, that's that. Let me know who you think. If you're in the comments, who you think's gonna win between all 5 of us. And if you're right, I'll not get you anything because I probably don't know who you are.
Can still win, and this is how Colapinto can still have a job next year.
Okay, all right, we're stopping the stream. Good night.